Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 108 of the TV Knitting Podcast. Hi, my name is Sharon, and I'm also known as Stitch Mistress pretty much everywhere on the internet. So I hope you guys are having a good week. So before I get started, I wanted to talk about the giveaway. And I am currently running a giveaway, and I'm giving away this beautiful skein of Wool and Vine yarns. And one of you lucky people can win this skein. It is in her Volca base, which is a merino cashmere nylon, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm currently knitting with this base, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but it is absolutely lovely, and I'm really enjoying knitting with it. So in order to win, what you need to do is you need to go to my group, which is TV Knitting Podcast group on Ravelry. You do not have to be a member to enter. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just give me an idea of what you would like to knit with this gorgeous skein. And also, this is my skein, and just give me a suggestion as to patterns for this. I'm probably going to knit it into a shawl because I'm really into self-striping socks right now, and I would like to know what you guys would recommend as far as shawl patterns. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to talk about what I am working on. So currently I am working on this gorgeous pattern by Boo Knits. It is called Peaseblossom, and this is the shawl, and it's beautiful. I really, really love it. And here it is so far. It has these beautiful beads, and I'm using coordinating beads in this gorgeous green color. So I had a little snafu the other day with this. What happened was I was very proud of myself. I was able to get beyond chart number 1, and this made me very happy because I was really getting bored with the first chart. Extremely bored. So I finished all 10 repeats, went on to chart 2. And I was on row 4 of a 12-row repeat. And yeah, it was fine. I was putting it back in my bag, and what do I see but 2 dropped stitches right at this bottom edging here. I was so annoyed. So I dropped down and tried to fix them. Didn't go very well. So then what I decided to do is I decided to take this repeat off and just rip this one repeat down and re-knit it back up. And I've done this successfully with other shawls. But with this shawl, you have, instead of yarn overs to increase, she has make ones. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of the make one because it's hard to replicate. I mean, you can fix it. It's not a problem, but I just got confused, which isn't hard to do. So I just ended up ripping the whole thing back. I ripped out 9 rows. And yeah, I'm back now, halfway back to where I was. And I am on row 7 of the first repeat that I was working on. So, not terrible. I mean, I love knitting it. It's not a big deal. It's just I lost a whole day's worth of work, which was kind of annoying, but what are you going to do? So, I'm plugging along on it, and I was looking ahead in the pattern. It has 9 charts. 9. So yeah, that's a little crazy, but I'm enjoying it, so it'll be just fine. So the next project I want to talk about is another pattern from Joji's collection, Joji Locatelli's collection, and it's called the Authentic Collection. And I showed you the shawl that I completed from the collection last week. It's absolutely a gorgeous shawl, and I love it to pieces. So this is a sweater from the collection, and it is called Big Old Coat. And I'm really enjoying knitting on it. And I ordered a bigger needle for it because there are lots and lots of stitches on this pattern. And here it is. So I'm really, really happy with how this is coming out. I can actually even try it on the needle, because see, armholes. And it fits great. It's probably a little smaller than the recommended size because it's supposed to be oversized. But I knit the extra small size, and according to my shoulder measurements, and it's definitely going to block out more because I did a gauge swatch and it stretched quite a bit. So I think it's going to be exactly the size I need. It's going to be not like huge where I'm swimming in it, but I think it's just going to be a nice coat I can wrap up in, and it is lovely. It is really, really nice. So I'm extremely happy with this project. Okay, so the other day I decided to cast on a new project. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen the yarn. And the yarn is Woolen Vine Yarns, and I told you I'd talk about it again. And this is her Volca base, and that's the merino cashmere nylon. And it is in the Outlander colorway. So, Outlander premiered this past Saturday night, and I wanted a project to knit on during the show, and I cast on Trillion. And Trillion is a pattern by Martina Bem. She's another one of my favorite designers, and I love this pattern. It's basically just a 2-row repeat, easy to memorize. It has mesh, which I love. I just love things with mesh. I'm kind of obsessed with mesh lately. So yeah, it's really great, and I'm really, really happy with this project so far. So basically, I cast it on just to knit during the show. And yeah, I'm actually kind of knitting on it in between too, because I kind of would like to finish it when the show is finished. So I think there's 13 episodes. So 13 weeks? I don't know, maybe there's less. 10? So 10 weeks. So if I work on it a little bit at a time and work on it while we're watching the show, it should be finished by the end. So these are beautiful fall colors. I mean, you can wear them anytime. But my friend who I knit with at work noticed that they were beautiful fall colors. So I agree wholeheartedly with her with that. Okay, so the other project that I've been working on is another fandom project. And these are my Harry Potter socks. Aren't they so pretty? Oh my goodness. I love them. And everybody I show them to is very impressed with these socks. So these are basically car knitting, and they're going really fast. I'm on the foot right now, and it's going really, really well. So I departed from my usual method of knitting socks. Usually I knit socks toe up, but this time I decided to switch it up a little bit and cast on top down. Because, I was just getting sick of knitting that toe box and doing the increases. I don't know. So I did a 2x2 rib. I just cast on long tail. I don't have a problem with give. My long tail cast on is quite stretchy, so it's not a problem for me. So 2x2 rib, and I'm doing them 2 at a time magic loop on a 40-inch needle, which I really enjoy. The last socks I knit on at 2 at a time, I used a sock blank, and I had a lot of tangling with the sock blank, and I didn't necessarily enjoy that very much, but I am enjoying this. I can manage the yarn, no problem. So my trick to you about knitting 2 at a time socks on one needle, if you are so inclined to knit magic loop, don't let the fact that there are 2 items on here intimidate you. Just pretend, which is what I do, just pretend it's just one garment, one thing. And you just have to remember, obviously, to use the yarn on your second sock when you get to it, so you don't join them together. So it's really basically like knitting one garment. So what you do is you're going to start and you're going to knit the front of this sock, then you're going to knit the front of the sock, and then you're going to turn. Then you'll knit the heels. Heel of this sock, heel of the other sock. So it's really quite easy. And I think I'm going to be knitting most of my socks like this from now on because, I don't know, it's psychological, I'm sure. It seems to go faster for me, which is probably not the case, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I put in a Fish Lips Kiss heel, which is my absolute favorite heel. This is the heel that fits me the best. And I was going to take the yarn off the back of the balls to do the heel, but I decided not to do that. And because I would have had to take out and cut the yarn, I didn't want to do that. So the heels are in my husband's house. This is House Cup Colorway by Mustache Yarns. My husband's Hogwarts house is Ravenclaw, It's also my house, even though these would not fit me. So here's the Ravenclaw color, and it also incorporates some of the Hufflepuff color. And so that means on the front of the sock, the pattern striping is interrupted. So this Ravenclaw color will not be on the front of the sock right here. Do I care? No. Does my husband care? No. He's completely fine with it. They're perfectly matched. It doesn't bother me that the stripes are different here. It's such a busy sock anyway. It's completely fine. So, awesome project. Very, very happy with it. So I also want to mention this beautiful bag that I'm using for these two projects. Look how pretty this bag is. This bag was a gift, and there's a little story behind it. My good dear friend who I knit with at work, she and I have been sharing our lunchtime and hanging out and knitting, and it's been really great. And it's great because I have somebody in person to talk to, and we can talk about patterns and what we're going to knit next, and we give each other ideas. It's fabulous, and it's like 3 to 5 days a week we get together, so it's been really, really fun. So I turned her on to podcasts, which is so cool. And she has an iPad, at home, and she started watching The Grocery Girls. And The Grocery Girls are in our age bracket, and she loved The Grocery Girls, and they're very, very funny. They're a very amusing podcast. So then once you start watching one, she started watching a whole bunch. She was watching Legacy Knits and others, and I gave her some more suggestions. I sent her some links. So now she's hooked on podcasts. So when she was watching The Grocery Girls, she noticed Mrs. Brown's bags, and and the host was showing off the bags that she makes. And this friend of mine is a very talented crafter, and she sews, she does paper crafts, she knits, she crochets, she does a lot of different crafts. So she said, so one day she came in and she showed me a bag that she made, and she had bought the pattern at Joann's, and the fabric was on sale at Joann's. It was beautiful. So the next day she came in with a bag for me. So that's this bag, and inside are 2 pockets, which is excellent because I can keep my yarn balls for socks separated. And I love it. So it's a great bag, and she made this adorable little card to go with it. And it says, "Knitting keeps us from unraveling." And yeah, she does the Stampin' Up! And all that stuff. And it's fabulous. And I have the little card tucked away. There's another little pouch in here. So I love it. It's awesome. So I've really been enjoying this bag. So I've been trying to talk her into selling them because she could do very well. I mean, these bags are amazing. I'm also trying to talk her into coming on the podcast with me. But she said she's camera shy. So, and she's also a very busy lady. So maybe in the summer I'll have a special guest and she can show off what she's knitting. She knits really fast. Like, she finishes a project a week. So she knits a lot of baby things too, which I don't knit, but she has 3 grandchildren. They are triplets, and they are 1 year old, and she knits amazing things for them and sews amazing things for them. So I'd love to get her on the show because I think you guys would be interested in seeing some of her beautiful things. Okay, so that's basically it for knitting. It's those 4 projects. That's enough. Basically, I haven't touched my sock yarn blankets, and I'm going to get back to them as soon as I finish these Harry Potter socks because I miss working on them, but other things have called to me. So there's no unwrapped segment this week, and I don't know if there's going to be for a while because I'm not on a yarn diet necessarily, but right now there isn't anything that I need, so I'm not placing orders unnecessarily. So I don't know, if I see an update or something pretty, I'll probably order it, but I'm not out actively looking to order new yarn. And I'm also going to the Connecticut Sheep and Wool Festival April 30th, weather permitting. So I'm saving up my money for that. But I thought I would introduce a new old segment called Stash Stories, where I pull a skein or two out of my stash and talk about it and tell the story behind it. And I have a skein to show you today. And I actually have a plan for the skein. I may even knit it up this summer, so we'll see. So here's the skein I'm going to talk about. It's a beautiful skein of socks that rock. And it is in the Pop Rocks colorway. Isn't it pretty? You can see why I picked this, right? I mean, those pinks, those oranges, this is me in a skein. And I've had this skein 6 years, probably. And it's even in their old yardage. It's only 360 yards. It is the lightweight. And it's awesome. Now, I'm not going to knit socks out of it because I have learned through experience that socks knit from 100% merino wool do not last long on my feet because I'm rough on socks. And all my socks that rock socks, I've repaired them. They're pretty much all beyond repair at this point. So no more socks out of socks that rock. So it's going to be a shawl. And I'm thinking of making a shawl out of this book, Curls by Hunter Hammerson. And this is the pattern that I'm considering. This is Anthene. And I think this yarn would be beautiful in this pattern. And it's nice, I can just knit until I run out of yarn. The only thing is, I don't know, I hope I like wearing these because they're very asymmetrical. I mean, these curls, this is what they look like. It's almost like you're knitting half a shawl in a way. But the styling on them is very attractive. And that's how I like to wear a lot of my shawls anyway. So hopefully it'll work out. And that's my stash story for the week. The other thing I want to talk to you about is what I'm wearing. And very often, if I don't have a finished object, I will wear something out of my closet that I have knit in the past. And this is no exception. So I'll show you this project. If you look on my Ravelry page, I entitled this project Epic Fail Shawl. Because this was basically an epic fail. Even though it's stunning, it's beautiful, it's certainly wearable. I mean, look at the bead detailing on that is gorgeous. It's definitely wearable, it's definitely beautiful, but it's one giant mistake. So the pattern is from this book, Knitted Lace of Estonia by Nancy Bush. And the pattern is this one. It's called the Trinu Scarf. And it's, oh, no it's not. That is so funny. So I fell in love with a shawl in this book, wrapped in lace. And the shawl is the Noops and Crosses shawl. And I cast the shawl on and was knitting happily away. It has a chart. And I don't know how I noticed it, but I was probably almost halfway finished with the shawl. But I realized I was not knitting the charts correctly. This shawl is supposed to be knit in garter stitch, and I knit it in stockinette. And it's actually fine. It doesn't curl up on me overly very much. I mean, it's a little, it needs to be reblocked. But I think it probably would have laid a little flatter if it was in garter. But anyway, the yarn is lovely. It is Mooey yarn. I'm not sure who makes Mooey, but it is made of bison and cashmere, and it's not cheap yarn. I got it at my LYS a few years ago. But the other issue that I mean, I love it. It's very soft and gorgeous. But the other issue I have with the shawl is that it's really not a shawl. It's a scarf. And I'm not really a fan of the rectangle. I much prefer wearing triangles. So, yeah, I don't wear it very often. Maybe I've worn it under a half a dozen times ever. So I should wear it more often because it's lovely and it's soft. I kind of wish I could wrap it around me though, but I'm not going to frog it. There are some old projects that I've knit in the past that I'm thinking of frogging, and I may do a segment on that. And I will bring out some projects and ask you guys your opinion. Should I frog it or not? Because I have some things that I knit that I'm not wearing. That the yarn is beautiful and maybe I'd like to use it for something else. Okay, so that's it for the knitting. Let me show you what I've been doing with spinning. So I've been spinning on my Hanson almost every night and I'm really enjoying it. And I am at the purple. Look how pretty that's coming out. I absolutely love it. It's spinning up very, very fine and beautiful. And I love it. So I measured the other day, I weighed what I had left, and I am halfway through the second braid, which is awesome. So I should be finished, I'm thinking, if I keep up the pace, a month or two, depending on how much I can get spun. But it's so fine that it's taking me forever. But oh, these colors, gorgeous. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be plying with the other braid that I did, and hopefully casting on a novum sometime this summer, because I think this will be beautiful in that pattern. So this brings us to the end of the show. Don't forget to enter the giveaway, because you have a chance to win this gorgeous skein of Wool and Vine yarns. And just go to my group, you'll see the thread, and enter to win. So I'll probably have the drawing sometime in the next 2 weeks. I will let you know, because I want to make sure that you all get a chance to enter. Yeah, if you want to ever get in touch with me, I pretty much hang around in the Rav group. You could start a thread. You can private message me on Rav. I haven't mentioned it in a while, but this podcast has an email. The email is TVknittingpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, if you want to know more, if you want to contact me. I also have a thread in my group called Ask the Stitch Mistress. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in that thread. I've also had some new people join the group, and I will talk about that more next week. I'll say hi. And I don't always get a chance to respond in the group because I work full-time and knitting full-time. Knitting is a full-time job too. So, and household things and things like that. But I try my best. And please feel free to comment on YouTube down below. That'd be great. It might get more people to notice the show. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys have a great week. Happy knitting. Cheers.